Take a moment, Shabbat. Big deep breath in through our nose, and out through our mouth. Let's take a moment to
It is important to know who we are in community with tonight. For those of you who are with us remotely, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom as well. We're turning to page 120 in our prayer book as we welcome Shabbat with light, and we invite up a whole group of folks: Renee Miller, Jane Rosen-Grandin, and Jesse and Sammy Schlossberg. Come on up. Someone want to read here? Okay. Ready? Please. Let's read this first. You ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher shanu mitzvotav tzitzanu v'chamer shel Shabbat.
As we have brought in this beautiful Shabbat with light, we are going to turn in our handout to the back page.
these lights and we'll sing together. And bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and sing to you. And let us sing Amen. Let us light these lights We bless this day through light. Let us also bless one another. We're on page 299 if you're in the thin book, or 603 if you're in the larger book, as we offer our family blessings. Want to make sure that we have something sweet to hold on to, but not too tight, so it doesn't melt. Thank you so much. And for those online, this might be an awesome time to go get something to eat so that we can feel that sweet sense of Shabbat. And I hope that you'll join with me in repeating after me these words of blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai, Ve'yishmerecha, may God bless you, and may God keep you. Ya'er Adonai, Panav Elecha, V'chuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai, Panav Elecha, Ve'yasem lecha, Shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Let's all say together, Amen. Find someone to share your sweetness with the Shabbat. Thank you. We hope that this little taste of sweetness will inspire us to more sweetness with Shabbat. So hopefully over these next 25 hours, you'll take the opportunity to do some sweet things, spend some sweet time together with friends and family, enjoy the rest and renewal of this special day. We are ready to pray. We're on page 146. If you are able, I invite you to please rise. Turning to page 149 or 51. The bottom of page 148. I feel like I have a different one. I do. That's upstairs. Wow. Sure, I get to go. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. There are different numbers on here, so we will make sure. Yes. So we are on page number, there we go. Let me share with you. This one seems a little off. Okay, thank you. So we're on page 33, page 151 in the brackets. Okay, I was right. But that's okay. 33 or 151. At the bottom of the page, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives its form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohein Amo Yisrael. Turning to pages 34 and 35, or 152 and 153, we pause and bring in that moment of focus for our Shabbat. Seated, we turn to the next page and continue chanting our Ve'achta. Look at the facing page to those words of Ve'achta. We really let them sink in the Shabbat, those words of love. Let's read them together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Turning 2 pages, page 40 or 158. We thank God for the blessings of freedom to live out that Ve'achta every day as we sing Become On the top of page 43, or 161, ask God for shelter beneath the Sukkah of Shalom, the Sukkah of peace. And if you're so inclined, I invite you to join me in these words. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amdo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Turning the page just once more to 44 or 162, we thank God for the gift that is Shabbat, the opportunity to keep it in whatever way it is that we see fit to make it meaningful to us. And we offer these words of blessing Shabbat for Shabbat at the top of the page. Turn the page to 46, 164. I invite if you're able to please Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Eloheinu Eloheinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, HaGibor Ba'ara, El Elyon, Yomim Chatzomim, Lechanim Hakol, V'zocher Maseh Avotim Ha'osh, U'medinularim V'neihem, Lema'an Shalom Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach Magid, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakolat Avraham L'Moshiach, Baruch atah, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye Ha'akom B'Rachim Rachim, So'ed Nolim V'Ro'ed Ko'omim, U'matir Asubim, U'mekayem Emunato, Mishenei Achar, Michamot Alav Yedurot, U'midam Elah, Melech Levi Tzemechayim, U'mashiach Yeshua, Ve'emat Atzal HaVayot Amo, Baruch atah Adonai, Elohim HaKadosh B'Shemcha Kadosh, U'Bereshit Bo Yom Yachid V'Selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el Take a few moments for our own silent prayer. There are words on the page, there are certainly words in our own hearts, and we'll join together again for Shalom Rav on page 178 in just a moment. Shabbat shalom. There is a story told in many different traditions, and definitely in the Jewish tradition, about a king who could not banish his sorrow. No matter what he tried, the remedies prepared by his doctors, the advice offered by his wise counselors, he continued to be unhappy, becoming more despondent every day that passed. In desperation, messengers were sent out across the land, promising a reward to anyone who could help the king. The greatest experts came to the palace and tried their best, but to no avail. A few days later, an old man dressed in work clothes arrived at the palace gate. "I am a farmer," he said, "and a student of nature. I have come to help the king." "The king doesn't need help from the likes of you," the king's chief counselor said dismissively. "I shall wait then until he is prepared to see me." With each passing day, the king's condition worsened. He felt sad and helpless, and he saw no end to his suffering. Finally, when virtually all hope was lost, the counselor let the old man in. Without uttering a word, the man approached the king, handed him a simple wooden ring, and left. The king looked at the ring, read the inscription that was etched on it, and slipped it on his finger. And for the first time in months, he smiled. "What does it say, Your Majesty?" asked the king's counselor. "Just 4 words," said the king. "This too shall pass." This too shall pass is a phrase that reflects the transient nature of life. It serves as a reminder that both good and bad times are temporary, and that challenges or difficulties we face will, God willing, eventually saying can comfort us during tough times and encourage our humility and our mindfulness during times of success and of strength. This week on our Jewish calendar is known as Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat of vision. Named for the special prophetic passage we read this week to accompany the opening words of the book of Deuteronomy. Shabbat Chazon this week and Shabbat the Shabbat of comfort, the name for our Shabbat next week, are the two special Shabbatot that surround the Jewish observance of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, which will be commemorated this coming week, beginning on Monday night, August 12th, and continuing into Tuesday evening, August 13th. Tisha B'Av is an annual fast day in Judaism, on which a number of disasters in Jewish history are described as occurring. Primarily, the destruction of the first and second temples in Jerusalem, the first temple in 586 BCE, and the second temple in 70 CE. Tradition teaches us that the first temple was destroyed because the members of the community participated in idolatry, forbidden relationships, and murder. Pretty bad. While the second temple was destroyed, despite the community members' Torah knowledge and their following of mitzvot, because of their sinat chinam, their baseless hatred towards one another. These destructions were not only life-altering for the Jewish people and their way of life, but also incredibly sad and difficult times to live through. There was devastation, loss of life, loss of direction, unease, and fear. It was as though our ancestors' world was shifting and being uprooted right then and there under their very feet. Perhaps it's not too far a stretch to feel some of what our people must have felt at those moments in Jewish history today. The rabbis of the Talmudic period were captivated by the task of reimagining Jewish life in a world so disrupted by tragedy and loss. I can just imagine the Talmudic rabbis sitting around amidst such change and upheaval, asking themselves, how can we maintain a sense of positivity, of potential, even on the heels of something so difficult and so very painful? How can we cultivate hope in the face of what feels entirely hopeless? Even in their impossible time, the rabbis remained creative and hopeful and doggedly built a Judaism that was relevant and meaningful to them, and that with our own insights and our own understandings, hopefully continues to be relevant and meaningful to us today. And like the rabbis of the Talmudic period, and like that king in my opening story, it is inevitable that all of us, perhaps personally or certainly collectively, will find ourselves in times of great joy and purpose, as well as great times of great pain and great sorrow. This is simply what it means to be human. So what can we learn from the rabbi's treatment of Tisha B'Av that may help us respond to Tisha B'Av and all that feels like Tisha B'Av, especially this year, especially at this time in our country and in our world? We see a truly this too shall pass thought process in the rabbi's arrangement of the special prophetic portions that align with the week surrounding Tisha B'Av. In their incredible wisdom, the rabbis knew that life is a balance between bitter and sweet, the feasting and the honey, between destruction and the promise of hope and of renewal. In fact, the Haftarot of the 3 Shabbatot that precede Tisha B'Av, this one included, sound a warning of impending disaster appropriate to the upcoming observance of the anniversary of the temple's destruction. And you know what? For a full 7 Shabbatot after Tisha B'Av, the Haftarot offer consolation and encouragement as if the destruction were a current event for them, not just in their memories. We must live in the sorrow, the pain, the helplessness, and we must also get up, walk towards possibility, potential, hope, be open to that sense of comfort. It is not lost on me that in this week in our Torah cycle, where we open a new book of the Torah and the people finally make their way to the promised land. Last week, as we finished the book of Bamidbar, we said the words chazak, chazak, v'nid chazek. Be strong, and together we are strengthened. Perhaps we need this strength to make it together through something challenging. And this week, in a Torah portion perennial linked to this season on the Jewish calendar, God says in Deuteronomy, Rav lachem sov et hahar hazeh, penu lachem l'tzafonah. Enough, you people. You have circled about this mountain long enough. Turn yourself. It is time to leave the mountain. It is time to move northward. It is time to move to the promised land. Yes, it is decidedly okay to sit in sadness and in distress and in fear. But at some point, the time comes to remember the potential, to remember the promise, and to rise. Gam ze ya'avor, this too shall pass. As Ecclesiastes reminds us, there is a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. It is my prayer that there is a lot more laughing than weeping, that there is a lot more dancing than mourning for all of us, for all of the Jewish people, and for our entire world. May it be so. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Far up to share some announcements.
Shabbat shalom. I am Barb Boyan, and I'm on the Board of Trustees. I'm just going to cover a few announcements because there's a whole bunch in your blue pamphlet packet program thing. So I will point out that on Friday, August 23rd, we will have a special camp-themed Shabbat service outside, weather permitting. On August 25th is the Sisterhood's general meeting, and we have a new wonderful Sisterhood president. So come on, ladies, let's get it together and join the Sisterhood. Go girls. And then I wanted to mention that on August 18th, Temple Emmanuel Social Action Committee is collaborating with Church World Service to help set up an apartment for an Afghan refugee family. We are still looking for an educator who'd love to teach in our Kesher program, and Kesher registration is open. So if your children or grandchildren haven't yet signed up for Kesher, please do so. Have a wonderful Shabbat.
So many things happening, and it's only August. We are going to turn back in our prayer books to page 371. Which also corresponds to page 253, depending on the numbers you are following. Take a moment to think of those in our community who are in need of healing, many of whom you can find on the inside of our pamphlet, which is on page number 6. We'll share that first verse of Tisha B'Av for all of us, we are all in need of healing. We are all in need of healing in different ways. We share that for our own strength and courage to make our lives a blessing. Then we'll pause to share the names of those we are thinking about for healing tonight. I'll invite you to do that. And then we'll share that second part of the blessing for them. Page 371, Shabbat. Turning in our prayer book to page 586 or 282. Is there any young folk in Young is Self-Defined who'd like to come up and help us open our ark? I hope that you'll do that. While the rest of us stand. Oh, represent the young people. Come on up. I'll wait for you to get up here and open our ark for us so that we might share a meaning on the bottom of page 282. Be seated. Just a moment, we'll turn to page 598 for our mourner's cottage. There are so many we are remembering. To also acknowledge the passing of Sue Clow, who died this week and who is yet to be laid to rest. So we don't say the word Kaddish for her, but we say her memory right now. We also remember those whose death has recently taken from us: Natalie Helen Weiss, Benjamin Robert Kittner, Nancy Weissman Galler, Helene Laney Kaplan Formasano. On the back page, those whose yard sites we remember today: Jerry Rosen, Richard Wagner, Beverly Friedman, Philip Siegel Sr., Lillian Diamond, William Starr, Abram Botchkis, Ben Silver, Max Kriegsman, Claire Miller, Julius Katz, Maurice Spear, Victor Salvin, Mo Foster, Anita Hurwitz, Dorothy Panzera, Joan Thiessen, Sophie Kriegsman, Kathy Frederick, Florence Rathkin, Jeremiah Kilimanjaro, Carl Pabst, Samuel Cohen. If I mispronounce the name, or if you're here remembering someone else tonight for yard site, I invite you to rise and share their name. And we rise together as one holy congregation to offer the words of Kaddish in their memory and for all those who need someone to say Kaddish for them. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah ve'alma yirav yurtei v'yamlik malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed kol beit Yisrael ha'galam b'zman karib v'beru amen Yehi shmei Rabbah v'barach ve'olam u'lamei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitha'ar v'yitromah v'yitnaseh Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei t'kusha b'richu Le'ela mikol birkata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ve'ama v'beru amen Yehi shalom rabba v'yishamayim v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'beru amen Oseh shalom v'ramav Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al yoshvei tevel v'beru amen. May be seated. So good to be together for Shabbat. We are going to turn back to page 128 in our prayer book. How good and pleasant it is that we have come together to celebrate Shabbat. If you're so inclined to gather near to your neighbors, either in physical proximity or spiritual proximity, and if you're so inclined and have the permission to put your arm around someone nearby, please do so. And if you feel like standing up, that's fine too, so that we might share in the joy of singing Nema Tov together as we bring Shabbat services to a close. Page 10 or 128. So much gratitude to Debbie and CJ, to all of you for being here in community. We'll join for Kiddush and Motzi in our reception area.